welcome back to Giving Word, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Jared. I'm hanging out here with my boy Ian. We are talking some NBA. What you got planned for us, dude?
Oh man! First off, thank goodness the NBA season is about to start. My Giants have been terrible this year, so I'm ready to get away from football. Yeah, looking forward to basketball though. Really looking forward to basketball. It should be a really good season. I'm like so excited about this season. One of the more wide open seasons I think we've seen in a while. You got your front runners, but this should be a really good season. So
yeah. I was gonna say I think this is one of those ones that it's hard for me to peg down. Outside of a couple teams that I feel are going to be pretty solid, regardless, it's kind of hard for me to feel like I can peg the rest of it down. So it's going to be an interesting year. So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so I figure we could get started. Maybe take division by division, take a look at each division, at least in the East. We'll start with the East and see how it goes from there. And yeah, complete East Coast bias since I'm still here on the East Coast. So you're out West, so you'll have to pull the West Coast bias back that way. But so I figure we'll do the starting five. We'll look at the starting five and then sort of do a talk of how each one, how the team as a whole will be and where we think they'll finish, that type of thing.
Right.
So Atlantic Division, we'll start on the far East Coast. Start with the Atlantic. And let's see. All right. Brooklyn. Obviously, it's Brooklyn, right? I mean, is there another team that plays in the Atlantic? I'm just playing. I mean, they've got the biggest three. You got to start with them. I don't believe they will win the division, though. That's my kind of. I know it's kind of out of the. I don't believe that for a couple of reasons. If they all play and someone that's maybe in the middle of these pictures down here is actually playing and remembering he's an NBA player.
Right.
And I still don't know that they win the division, not because of their talent. Talent-wise, there is no starting five. Well, there's no big three bigger than these three in the league, period. Thank you all for playing.
Yeah.
I'm not a Nets fan, but I mean, you look at it and you know what got there.
Yep.
3 future Hall of Famers, at least two definite future Hall of Famers, and one guy that should be. Head was screwed on a little straighter. I just don't think that they would play for the top spot, only because I think their age would kick in, and so I don't think they would play all out to get that top spot. And for that reason, and that reason alone, if all things are equal and everyone plays, I see them more in the 3rd or 4th in the conference overall. So, well, I mean, as big as their 3 is as well, their other 2 guys do leave something to be desired a little bit. But what do you think?
Well, I we'd kind of talked about this a little bit beforehand, and my first thought was you can't fix crazy.
Yeah, and got to the crazy.
And so that's going to be a big part of their overall efficiency this year. Their ability to really be a top team, and even the Atlantic Division, much less the East.
Right.
I think on paper, absolutely 100%. But you've got some big issues. Yeah, you've got Kyrie going off doing whatever the heck he's doing. You've got Harden, who again, not as crazy as say Kyrie, but I still need to see him show up in the playoffs.
Right.
And then you've got Durant, who again, by all measures, all metrics, you should be able to say, hey, okay, listen, this guy's one of the top dogs in the NBA. But
maybe the top dog right now.
Can't get out of his own head sometimes. And, then especially with sort of wackiness going on with the other 2, then how well is he going to handle that? That's probably my biggest concern with them right now. I just don't see the 3 of them putting it all together to make it happen, even though on paper they should 100%.
Yeah, that's kind of my issue with this. But yeah, paper wise, I mean, this is what you build in 2K. You know, you play in 2K. This is what you want to try to put your team together. This is what you want. But at best, right now, as of today, whatever time it is, Kyrie can't play in right out the gate half of their games. At least half.
Right.
At least half of their games that he can't play. So that's 41 games plus certain other cities. And I can't remember what those cities are. I want to say Golden State's one. The Lakers are one probably. There's some other states as well. Can't be in New York. I don't know all the details on it, but basically it's the no vaccine thing.
Yep.
And so right out the gate, even if everything else was peaches and cream, slightly over half of your season, let's say 45 games, because it's probably somewhere in that neighborhood, he can't play in. Well, right out the gate, you're knocking your team. And forget if they get to the playoffs. So if they get to the playoffs, it would be the weirdest. They almost don't want home court advantage. It'd be the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
The only team that doesn't want home court advantage. Like, oh, no, we don't want home court. We'll lose one of our best players. Hopefully he comes around and, gets his head on straight, goes back to playing basketball and focusing on that. It's not that the other things aren't important, but if you're paid to be in the NBA and everyone's relying on you to be in the NBA and you're still taking your check, unlike somebody else later on that we'll talk about, then you should be in the NBA and take your check and do all the things that are required, like any of us would have to do for our jobs, that type of thing. So
yeah,
I put them as fourth.
I think that's fair.
That's the fourth that I put in there.
I think that's fair, and I kind of see that right now as their ceiling. And depending, they could drop much lower, depending on how these pieces go. I would say Harden and Durant could probably get them to fourth by themselves.
Pretty much. That's the way I kind of see it. If it's just the two of them.
Yeah. So I think that's fair enough. And they've got some good pieces around them. Not as good as it was. The Nets had a much better bench than they do right now, which is unfortunate for them. So, and that'll again speak to, playoffs, having that depth, and, who knows if, as long as Durant's, legs stay healthy, and just there's so much there. And so I think that's the biggest issue with them going up, where I put their ceiling much higher than that. I almost could see them going lower depending on all kinds of variables. So
sure. Yeah, this is assuming health, that the only issue that they have is Kyrie. And it's a big issue, but this is assuming that there's not, because it's hard to predict injuries.
Yeah.
With a team like this, honestly, Durant played a lot of basketball here lately. I think Durant by himself, I mean, shoot, they were a big toe away. If Durant's foot was that much smaller, they were heading to the finals, right? Yeah, or at least the conference finals at the time. So Durant by himself can probably drag him to 4. I figured any one of the 3 gets them to at least 5, 4, 6, maybe in the East. If you have 2 of them, yeah, they should be 4th.
Sure.
Even with injuries or time off and, resting, et cetera, et cetera. So I see them at that point. Because the other guys, they still got, Blake is still on their team.
Yep.
Griffin. I don't know what to think of LaMarcus. I put him down there as the starter. I don't really know that he is definitely going to be the starter. Joe Harris is good. Harris is a good role player. Excellent.
Yep.
Wahoo wah.
Yep.
But yeah, they can be a little dicey. They're the same. I see them kind of being the same way. Not quite the same, a little, because the team out west is 1,000 years old. But I kind of see Brooklyn being similar to the Lakers in that got a lot of talent, got a lot of names, a lot of 2K players, but age is going to come back. Injuries, just repetition, that type of thing is going to bother you through the season. So,
yep, absolutely.
4th overall.
No, I think that's a fair spot. Yep.
All right, let's see. That team from New York, the other one. Are they the other one, or was Brooklyn the other? I'm not sure anymore. That's we'll let them figure that out.
The Knicks, yeah.
I'll let you start. You want to take the Knicks first? That'll
Sure. I think right now I I'm not mad at third for them. They're another, again, it kind of depends. I mean, now some of this might also speak to where Brooklyn goes, depending on how these teams play, how these other teams play, excuse me. But I think that you've got the makings of a solid group here. You know, Randall really showed who he is last couple seasons, but last season really. I think, you know, RJ Barrett's a solid player. One of those guys that could have the potential to come kind of in that quote unquote star quality if he shows it, but he's still young.
yeah.
Mitchell Robinson.
He's on the right trajectory. Yeah. He's heading kind of that way.
Mitchell Robinson, solid big guy. I mean, you know, what else you really want from him? He's not going to give you stupid numbers, but he'll do what he needs to do. I think bring in
intimidator, shot blocker.
Yep. Bring in. I think Fournier is the most solid addition that they brought in. He's a low key assassin. He can shoot the lights out when he wants to. He can really bring in some, you know, great offense from that shooting guard position, and is deceptively tall.
Yeah, he is.
You know, so he's lanky, so he's not like he's a small guard. He's a good fit for that number 2 spot. The big question mark here is going to be Kemba again, because of, again, like what I was speaking about with Durant. The biggest thing with Kemba Walker is going to be his wheels. How well are those legs going to stay under him? Because he's one of those guys that, you know, is a solid player. He's a solid point guard. He can do the job. But is he, you know, how many games is he going to miss?
4 years ago, star point guard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
3 years ago, maybe.
Sure. But right now, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, maybe this year might be his year where we can really kind of get some, you know, solid minutes in and not get hurt. But it's one of those things too, especially with knees and legs and the way he plays. And, you know, he's one of those, you know, crossover, you know, juking and all that stuff. And that's
all about quickness and
you gotta
that's what I always worry about
the support on the knees, man.
Oriented and not, you know, using other kind of skills. It's more about their quickness and maneuverability, et cetera, et cetera. If your knees go, your wheels go.
Just ask his teammate Derrick Rose. I mean,
I was just getting ready to say between their starting and backup point guard, do they have one good knee between them? I'm not sure.
That's going to be a big question mark. Again, I'm assuming everything being equal, I'm good with third. I think they have the potential to get there. It's just going to boil down to obviously chemistry, but I think also even more important than that, because I think Fournier and Walker, I think they'd be a good fit. But yeah, I just think a lot of it's going to depend on their overall health, especially in their backcourt. So we'll see.
Yeah. I see that. I call them the board collective. And the only reason I say that is because of their coach. I mean, their coach that's why I have them actually winning the division. I think they'll win the division. And it's because of their coach. Tibbs knows how to coach some regular season games. That's not a backhanded slap. I mean, he's a really good coach. He should have never left Chicago, quite frankly. Their front office was worth anything at the time.
Right. Yeah.
But Tibbs teams always play hard. They play hard every single night. There's no nights off.
Right.
Everybody will play. Everybody will play hard. I did kind of laugh when the laugh that he gave one of the media when Kemba was getting introduced, and one of the media asked something about, is he going to play heavy minutes or something around those lines? And he said, well, you got to ask coach. And all you see is Tibbs laugh because and go, he's healthy, he's playing. Like,
right.
Of course, you know, that's as a Bulls fan, I completely understand that is the way Tibbs is going to be. So if Kemba is healthy, he's going to play a lot of minutes. Derek, same thing. Taj, it doesn't matter. If you're healthy, you're going to play, and you're going to play hard every night. And for that reason, I think they're going to win the
That's the
division.
thing. That's right. They got
How far did they go?
They got
How
Taj
far did they
Gibson on
go
the
after?
bench.
Right.
Yeah. He's a solid guy.
Obi Toppin, and then quickly actually might be the starter. I could see him maybe playing some point. I could see him, I think that's really, I don't think they're going to lean on the Rose and Kemba's come playoff time. But I can see quickly actually being the one that plays the most. But either way, I see them winning the division for all the things I said, mostly around the coaching.
Yeah.
So.
Not mad at it.
All right.
Yeah.
Celtics. I'll take the first step of this one. This is a team that they're the opposite of what I see the Knicks are. The Knicks, they're individual pieces. You kind of break them apart and go, okay, nothing's really. Kemba, yeah, okay, he's good. A lot of guys. The Celtics are the opposite of that. They have some guys. Jayson Tatum is bona fide star, center of your 100%. Team. That's young, et cetera. All the things that you'd want as a star frontline player, he has the ability to be. Jaylen Brown behind him, but right behind him. Not far behind at all. Schroeder's not a bad player. His bank account took a little bit of hit over the summer, but hey, he's still making far more than I probably will ever, and so I'm never going to make fun of him and making his billions of dollars.
Exactly.
Marcus Smart,
he's a solid guy,
a shutdown defender.
Yeah.
And of course Al Horford, ageless veteran. If you look at them individually, you go, "Oh yeah, that's a name I know. That's a name I know. That's a star. That's a star." But collectively. I have them as 7th. I can't put them any higher than that. I looked at the teams ahead of them. Could they be? I think their ceiling at very best, if everything just worked out perfectly for them, maybe 4th. I don't see them ever rising any higher than that. I don't see them really going past 6th, to be honest with you. But
you were kinder than I was. I was thinking 5th. Maybe, if everything works out the way they're supposed to. Now, I mean, again, I think it depends on lineup. They're one of those teams where you watch them, and especially looking at Tatum and Brown, especially, and then what Marcus brings to the team. I like Marcus better off the bench. He seems to be one of those players where his impact seems to come in better off the bench and really kind of help to keep them, especially if you build up any kind of momentum, help to keep that going. There's just his toughness and just especially, defensively, but even offensively, he's kind of one of those, glue guys that kind of just helps fit whatever spot he needs to take care of in that moment. And I mean, so no knock on him. I just think he's actually a better asset off the bench. And that's what he proved early on in this kind of collective. And I don't know if he's necessarily like, and you can't have to look at their overall roster, but I don't know if he's necessarily the best fit, like as a starter. So
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem that I see with the Celtics. Honestly, they are, and Al Horford might not be the starter. I saw Horford, and to be honest with you, I would think Robert Williams would be the starter. I looked at the way they kind of spec'd out. So Horford's probably coming off the bench, but even if Williams, who's a good defender, real good defender, rebounder, big dude, is the problem with the Celtics is the same problem they had last year and probably the last several. There's Tatum, there's Brown, and who? Right. Yeah, that's they've been looking for that 3rd or 4th guy for ages. And you're right. Smart would look a lot different if you had that star guy instead of Schroeder, or someone other than Horford or Robert Williams or somebody like that. That's why I just don't see this. They don't strike fear. There's no fear factor with this team.
Yeah,
Like,
I would say even if you get, I mean, if they would have held on to Fournier and had him playing with this group and had Smart coming off the bench, I would feel better about him. Because I think
he's trying to rotate that point guard for how long? It was Isaiah, then Kyrie, then Schroeder. Oh no, Kemba. Now Schroeder. I mean, it's every year you're swapping somebody in and out on that. So I think they're just in sort of a mix, trying to find something. Hope something sticks to the wall. But I think with the rest of the teams improving, they've stayed the same. I don't know how you could see them as anything but at best staying the same. Yeah, okay. Let's say Schroeder's even better than Kemba. I don't think he is, but say he is at this stage in their careers, that type of thing. You're at best running the same team back. So
right.
I see them as 7th.
Yeah.
All right.
I have no clue what to say about this team. I really don't.
Rebuild.
Yeah. That's pretty much it at this stage. They've still got. They've lost just enough of the pieces of what was their championship roster, not even to include Kawhi.
Right.
It's just not, and Siakam is, I think, definitely again kind of one of those more low key superstar types. He's one of those guys that can get things done, but it's not a lot of flash. You're not gonna get a whole, lot of highlights out of him or anything like that. But he's a team that you could build around with like one other piece. And none of the other guys on the team, to me, seems to be that other piece. And so I don't know what else to really say about him,
I think that he is the piece that Toronto will trade at some point, and they'll really kick off their rebuild. I could see him being that guy that you go, hey, I want a couple of draft picks, maybe a young player and a pick, that type of thing. Maybe this is totally me just speculating because we just talked about the Celtics. If you threw him on the Celtics, now start thinking about, okay, that team looks a lot different now. That's the type of, I see him kind of being that type of a player this year.
Yeah.
And Toronto, they had their day in the sun, the great championship run, et cetera, but it's time. It's time. You got to go ahead and hit that reset button.
He's one of those guys that kind of got like the small list of guys that I would see if he could go to Portland.
Yeah.
They could really keep, keeping Dame, keeping CJ, adding him in, and then working in some other pieces around that could really be a good fit. I mean, could really seriously push him up to another level. But especially kind of coming in at that 3-4 slot,
that
kind of pretty much slot him in anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Which is really what they need. Has needed for a long time now. So, but with the team the way that's constituted, I don't see them. Maybe the play-in, and maybe it might be able to squeak through something, but that's it. I don't really see anything else happening.
I see maybe past Eastern conferences. Maybe
sure.
I don't see it this year. The East, I know, has been the joke for a while, but if you look at there are so many teams.
There are, but it's like, again, it's still like, and we'll talk about the rest of them, but there's still so much like that's just left off the table, and it's hard to really pinpoint exactly what it is. There's so many little like nagging things going on that basically, really, unless you are the Bucks, I have a real hard time really, I could say, we could see where certain teams are going to fall, but like who's going to be the one that's really going to be up there against the Bucks?
Right.
For that Eastern
floor
conference.
It's hard to define a floor for a lot of teams. You can probably define a ceiling better than the floor.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I can
because
see
the
that.
floor could
That's
be
probably,
for any of them. Just
it's a free
the
fall.
floor just drops out. Yeah,
Completely. Speaking of floors dropping out, excellent lead in, man. That was outstanding lead in.
Just
Man, that was like you would think we'd practice or something, which we hadn't.
no, no. Man,
Yeah.
the process, man. Gotta trust the process.
Brand new process. Let me just tell you. The look on Embiid's face in this picture pretty much says it all.
The look on Simmons' face too. I mean,
it is. He got near the basket. He forgot what to do. Okay. I'll give this a shot.
Mm-hmm.
This team could be all over the place. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody knows it. I'm sorry, Sixer fans.
Yeah.
You know it as well as we do. Simmons, as of just a little bit ago, airplane touched down in Philadelphia. So he is headed Philly to talk to the team and basically try to get his money. I mean, let's just be real. This is what that is about.
At least it's
I don't feel bad for
zip code right now. No.
Yeah, this is one of these. Usually I completely side with the player. My natural inclination is always to side with the player. Everybody has the choice of where to work, where that type of thing. You should too, et cetera, et cetera. I don't side with the player in this case. And in fact, the two probably biggest head cases right now in the East, I wouldn't side with either of them because I think they're just being that prima donna head cases.
Right.
And
they're in the same division.
They are in the same division.
Not even the same conference. Same division.
Both point guards. Yeah. So,
which again kind of speaks to so you look at a team like Boston or New York.
Right.
If you guys just play solid and don't defeat yourselves,
everybody show up,
then you actually have a solid. You have a boxer's chance here.
Sure.
Sure. And I think that's really what it's coming down to.
Knicks third.
Sure.
Third in the conference.
I don't see them falling apart at the seams.
No.
I don't see Boston falling apart at the seams outside of maybe physically.
Sure.
So I think it really, I mean, heck, even Toronto may, move up. I mean, just at least within the division itself, and then depending on how they play against other teams. Right now, it's a shame because again, this is another team like the Nets, where on paper you've got the makings for a very solid team. Thibault has
they should be knocking on the door of Eastern Conference.
Yeah, he's become one of
that should be their low bar.
He's become one of the best perimeter defenders in the league right now, and that's him being on a team with Ben Simmons. Tobias Harris has always been a solid player. I don't know as much about Therese Maxey.
He's the rookie. He was a rookie last year, but really good player. More offensive than defense, but he's
that's
really
okay,
good player.
Because they've got defenders out there to protect that.
And you basically funnel everything into Embiid.
Sure,
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's if it got past Simmons or Thibault. I mean, and so
send them in there to the big guy. So the issue I have with the Sixers, let's take Ben out of it for a minute, and it would just say, kind of sit that problem off to the side. If you take him off the court and add a serviceable player in for him, Embiid by himself is a monster. He can be absolutely dominant. Problem is for Embiid is they're playing 82 whole games this year.
Exactly.
And that all the way they're going to play a whole season, regular season, not playoffs or anything. I'm just talking regular season. There's 82 of them. He doesn't know that, but there are 82 games in the regular season.
Right.
If I was a betting man, over under of 55 games, going over or under for him playing.
Just over. I'm thinking 60.
Okay.
I'm thinking like 60 is going to be that
I think 60 is if everything goes really well.
Sure.
But if anything happens to him, Embiid takes every other night off, every third or fourth night off, I guess. Anyhow, and I don't mean like he's a lazy player or anything like that. That there are other players that might do that. He's not one of those. I think he's legitimately just can't take running. Well, I mean, he's a big dude. He plays in the NBA. He has a lot of running.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So now you're talking about, and this is any team, take your top 2 players off the team for 30 games a year. How well are you going to do? And that's my problem with the Sixers. Simmons, I think they're going to work something out. I don't think he'll be here. I think that he's hopefully coming to some common sense, and basically I hope either his girlfriend or wife, I don't know if he's married or not, has gotten a hold of him and be like, look, knucklehead, you have just given up millions of dollars. Just all you had to do was show up and you would have gotten millions of dollars.
Right.
Legitimately. That is the way his contract was structured. Hopefully someone got a hold of him and he will just show up, and behind the scenes they can work a trade out. The where we'll maybe do another video on that, because that's going to spill out into the nowhere, into everything. There's so many possibilities there. Portland, I mean, hey, you could trade 2 problem children, right? Just trade him and Kyrie, just flip-flop them, right? God. What crazy for crazy.
No, that's the last thing. This is the last thing the 76ers need. I think they need, if anything else, just...
I don't think it would work well for either of
them. No, I can't see how. We could do a whole podcast just on Ben Simmons, just the enigma that he is.
We might.
He reminds me of the I'm losing the name, Tebow. He's like the Tebow of professional basketball. He's like, better. He actually did play.
Sure.
Overall, has played much better and has found more success in the NBA than Tebow ever did. But it's kind of a similar kind of thing where it's just,
he's in the wrong generation.
A mechanic. Yeah. He'd have been great. Magic Johnson kind of led the way there.
Even.
In the 90s. Yeah, we not necessarily having to shoot as much. But Magic Johnson didn't start the league with a decent jump shot, but he ended the league with a decent jump shot.
He worked on it.
Look at LeBron James right now. People can, knock LeBron all you want to, but he started the league with not that great of a shot. Do everything else.
Yeah.
But then started developing not just
progressed.
And
every year,
not just a decent jump shot, something to where you have to actually really pay attention. You have to really pay attention to it, and then even shooting threes and everything else. So I think it's unfortunate. Ben's just got to get out of his own head, kind of for different reasons than Durant. But I think it's a similar kind of thing. It's just a mental thing. For whatever reason, he's just afraid of just that. He's afraid of being in that position where he's not excelling, and this isn't something he excels at, so he's afraid of it, and that's a shame.
It's a terrible thing. It is far better. Team sports. It is far better to try and miss, than not for the other team to know you're not shooting it. You're not shooting it. Nope. I don't even need to put anybody over there. I would, in fact, if the whole hack a Shaq back in the day. Okay, Shaq, anytime you see him, you just smack him. There would be times I would legitimately just play 5-on-4 on defensively. My 5 would be guarding these other 4 people down here, and I would just leave him alone. You're at the 3-point line, wide open.
Right.
Muzzle top, please.
Yeah.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
You just shoot your way into oblivion. It would completely mess with his head even more. So for that reason, 3rd or 9th.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where this team could go. If
it's hard to
somehow came back, or even if they trade him and they get something solid in for him.
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to contend. So they're not trying to get a whole bunch of dead salaries that they can kick off at the end of the year. I mean, they'll probably try to get that too. But they're trying to contend. Because if you're not trying to contend, then you might as well trade Embiid and blow it all up.
Sure.
Embiid's not a 10 more years of. He probably doesn't have 5 more, to be honest with you.
Probably not.
Not the level that he's at.
Yeah, not the way he tends to go medically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just I don't see it going much longer.
If Ben had played it a little differently, quite frankly, I could almost see the Sixers making a case of, okay, maybe we look to trade Embiid and keep Simmons. I'm not saying that's the way they should go at this point. I think it's just time. Philadelphia would never have it at this point. Fans, the city, that's not the place to be when you are thin-skinned. And yeah, that's just not. You need to go out west, buddy, quickly.
Yeah,
real quick. Yeah, so I could see them if he goes and they don't really get anything back, and Embiid's only going to play a few games anyhow. 55, 60 games, and that's going to cap out for Embiid. It's going to take him a while to gel with new teammates, et cetera, et cetera. I could see them dropping down to 9th, and that's if they don't really get anything. But the thing is, with them, they could be anywhere in between too. I really mean that. Embiid's a beast, but playing only 60 games and everything else in such turmoil, I see them really dropping down this year.
I do too.
Yeah.
I can't see them really picking this up. I think it's just, and you can't, to go at that level to really get to vie for the level that they're looking for, they need to be firing on all cylinders out the gate.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not there.
Right.
So I think it would be a big struggle for them to really, get as far as they conceivably could.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway, like I said, there's so many question marks until we know exactly how things are going to fall with Simmons to really completely answer. But
and maybe we'll do a
follow up on
podcast or stream on just Simmons. And it's breaking, as I think I just saw the notification that it's like I said before we got on here. I was like, it's like the weirdest OJ watch back in the day for people who are old enough to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's like the weirdest OJ watch ever. So now he's in a white Bronco driving down the road. Now he is heading here. Okay. So that's the Atlantic. That's the Atlantic. We'll do maybe later this week. Well, not maybe. Later this week we'll do the other two.
Yeah, the other two should be a little more interesting because it'll be a little bit more of a discussion about the teams themselves and how how they're made up as opposed
to chaoticness.
Not all this drama and craziness necessarily. Yeah, exactly. Because and I guess it's probably a good way we got this out of the way.
Yes,
because
that's why I started with this one.
Yeah, because there's so much happening here that
division of drama.
Pretty much, unfortunately. Feel for the other teams in there, but maybe again might help them out, might help them elevate because the other two teams are just falling apart on them and just can't make it work. So that was cool. I think that which one are we going to do next?
We can go Central or we can go Southeastern.
Let's do Southeastern next. Get that one done. Then we can Southeastern. Then we can finish off with your team.
Thank you. I don't know what team that could be.
Never mind. We can see what. I think that'll also be an interesting team an interesting group to talk about. Also, because there's a couple areas there in the Central where it's just hey, spoilers. You got two teams right there where people go to lose their careers. This is where you go to bury them.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that'll be a quicker one. Really it's like they're not going anywhere. Okay,
and these two teams also play. And
pretty much.
Yeah. Cool. So sounds good. All right. Well, Southeastern up next.
Yes, sir.
And go from there.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for this quick little NBA update with the Getting Work podcast. Folks, catch us on YouTube later. Don't forget that we stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, most weeks, 11 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Mountain Time on Twitch, on the Twitchers. So make sure to catch us up there on the Twitchers. And we'll talk to you guys later. Getting Work signing out.
Later, fam.